Right guys, today this is my introduction to my Seat Leon. It's 1.4 TSI. It's the FR Sport. It's coming up 3 years old now. The reason I've made these films, these films, I'm not sure if it's going to be one film or two films yet. I've tried to cover every aspect of the car, and the reason I'm doing this is because Blue and I will be parting company when the new car is delivered. I have a car, but this car is on the mobility scheme, so every 3 years you get to change it in and get a new car. Unfortunately this time on the mobility scheme, because Seat have just brought out the new Leon. If I'd had a manual one I would have had one, but an automatic one, it's advance payment of £1,000. You have to have an advance, so I can't afford that. So it's one of the hardest things I've had to do is to, if I wasn't on the scheme and this was my car, I wouldn't be swapping it in for anything except for a new one. It's the best car I've ever owned. I've owned 28 cars, and I can honestly say with two Leons, I had red before this one, obviously red, and that was the 1.2 TSI, and that was the SE technology. And what a fantastic car! I understand why people have this kind of love affair with them. They think bloody Leonolas, they're bloody boy racers and always flying around and this sort of thing. It's not until you own one it kind of gets under your skin. You can't describe it. It's just a fantastic car. It does everything you could possibly want. It handles beautifully. The tyres on this, they put obviously from new, the Bridgestones. Very disappointing. My other red, I had some Yokohama tyres put on there. Transformed it. It really was. The handling is in the dry, but these, they're okay. You can feel them creak when they start to move. In the wet, it's just rubbish. They really are rubbish. I had the car for about 4 or 5 weeks, and I thought in the wet, because it's really twitchy, I wanted to know how far I could take it before I would, which way it was going to go. The front was going to slide out, the back was going to go. And I chose a bend where I could see round the bend, so there's nothing coming, nice and quiet. So it was raining, so in I went, and the back end came round. I wasn't expecting that back end came round, but it was controllable. You could steer into it and just bring it back again. It's all nice and controlled. So the car saved the day. It wasn't the bloody tyres. The tyres were useless. So with these, obviously, it's on the Motability scheme. I can't tell you what tyres I'm going to have, and it's on mine. Because part of the package, you get the tyres and you get the windscreen replacement. You get the insurance. All you have to do is put petrol in. All the servicing is free. So that's basically it, really. But I am going to so miss this car. I really am. I know, probably till January before I get the next car. So we've still got a few months together, and I'm glad to say. The other thing I will say with this is the fact that obviously for myself, I have to use a hand control, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. I've obviously got to have the automatic, but I'm glad I did, because this 7C DCT gearbox on this is a fantastic unit. The gear selections are perfect. You can just flick the lever back straight to sport. I know you've got the drive pay file, you can leave it in sport, but it kind of gets a bit juicy if you do that. It kind of likes to drink a lot of fuel if you leave it in sport all the time, and it's always rapping, it's champing at the bit to go. So, but I want to overtake something, just flick that back into that, and bang, that bloody thing goes. It really does. The pickup between, say, 50 mile an hour, if you want to overtake something, 50 mile an hour up to overtaking speeds to get past, fantastic. You pull out, just put it in sport, just kind of make it so it's kind of in the right gear. Sometimes I flick it across to manual. I've got the flappy paddles on the gear shift. Sorry, and the flappy paddles on the steering wheel. I can't use them because I've got hand controls. So I'm holding them, I'm just steering with one hand and push pull brake. So that kind of makes it a bit more difficult. So I can't use those, but you can push the lever across and put it into manual. So sometimes I put it into I just flick it across, put it in manual, just to get it into a low gear, so it's in that torque curve where it's just going to go. It's not going to hesitate. You're going to pull out and it's going to go. You know every time that's what it's going to do. As long as you get that so it's ready, man, it's fantastic. It really is. So yeah, so this is goodbye to my favourite car ever. And in 3 years' time, hopefully, the automatics will be at a reasonable price and I'll be getting another one. Fantastic car. Right, well, thank you very much, everybody. And I hope the film, or films, not sure if it's going to be one or two yet, I hope they're informative. And you can see what it is to own one of these cars. People in the Leon Owners Club, they are so passionate about these, because I've had 28 cars. Since 1985, I've had 28 cars. And I've had all sorts. I've had some brilliant cars. But is there one? The only one I would say was a Mark 1 Granada that I had, the 3-litre V6. Because of the way it drove, because it was just so cool. Whereas this, I don't know, it's something about them. I mean, the look. I mean, look at those headlights. Come on, man. What is not to like? Look at that. The first time I saw those LED headlights, I just could not believe they were on, and I know they were first car in this segment to have LED headlights. I couldn't believe how cool they were. I mean, look at it. What a beautiful looking thing. So anyway, I'm just rambling on now. So anyway, thanks guys. I hope you like the films or film. And I might even make another film before I probably on the day when it goes in to be changed over for the new car. I'll probably I know I'm going to get emotional because you can't help it. So I'll probably might make a film then about saying goodbye. Right, so if you wave towards me. Right guys, this part of the film is the actual driving part of it. What's the car like to drive? What's it like to overtake? I've got Doctor's cruise control on, so I'm just following that car there. What I do is when I want to come to overtake, I can still keep my distance so you can see. I'm going to flick it into sport now.
You can't.
I still keep my distance because I still want to see. I'm checking my mirror. I'm going to wait for the next car to come down, and then I should check my mirror again so I know what's behind me. We don't want any surprises.
Yeah, but traffic, there's no chance.
I would have overtaken there, but I had to show this being done safely, so yeah. I can't overtake at the minute, guys. I could have done it if I was on my own or something, but that's not safe. We want nice to say overtaking. Right, there we go. Let's build up speed now.
Yeah, okay.
And away we go.
There you go.
Overtaken, as you can see. It's back in drive again now. Don't need any more than that. Click it on, check mode, so it's running on 2 cylinders. Save the fuel because we don't need any of that. So you can also go to the mode button here and just press that, and then just keep pressing it, and it goes to eco. So I'm out of individual, which is what I had it in, because I like the individual bit, because I'll explain that when we get to our destination, and I'll quickly show you how I set that up, because it's important. Because if you, I'll explain it then. Right, we can cut the film now. Right guys, I'm going to explain to you now about the drive profile system that you have on the car, and obviously in the real world, how does it work. I have adaptive cruise control on the car, and I have set that, I have it set the drive profile to individual, which is this one here. So if you go to that one, this allows you to set it how you want it. So I have the steering on sport, I have the engine on sport, I have the air conditioning. That actually can come off that, and that can go to eco. And then I have those on sport. The reason I have, in fact, that doesn't really have to be on sport, that can be on normal. Don't know who's been mucking around with my system, but keep the engine on sport if you have an adaptive cruise control, purely for the fact that if you don't, the car just doesn't keep up with the traffic, the distance it's meant to set. It just lags behind and lags, and it slowly increases its speed. By that time, people have already overtaken you, got ticked off, because they can't understand why you keep going so slow. You accelerate up and then it goes so slowly. So this is, if you want it, put the engine in sport. It doesn't drive along in sports all the time. It just drives along in drive. But whenever the traffic increases, it'll keep the car in with that traffic. So that's how I have it set. So just go back from that.
Eastbound, this has just popped.
And if you press the mode button, it'll automatically go through across. Just press it again. It goes to eco, to normal, to sport, and back to individual. That's how simple that is. But that's how I have it set, purely for the fact that I have adaptive cruise control, and I want the car to stay with the traffic, not get left behind. If you put it in drive, if you have it in any other mode on that, it doesn't work. So that's about basically it. I'll show you the rest of everything else in the clip of this film when it's at night time, so you can see. I'll go through everything then, because it's easier to see it at night, to see all the different bits and pieces, because it's lit up nicely. And then we'll go through the headlights and stuff like that, and what the other bits and pieces do on the car.